Sometimes I catch myself staring out the window and wonder, how did we end up here? Not in a dramatic way, more in that quiet late night kind of wondering. The kind that sneaks up on you when you're washing the dishes or waiting for the bus, just noticing how strange everything feels. How so many things about modern life don't really make sense. And I don't mean that in a cynical way either. I'm not here to rant or blame, I'm just trying to understand. Because the more I look around, the more I notice these very strange contradictions. And we call this progress, but it often feels like we're moving in the wrong direction. We call it freedom, but so many of us feel trapped. We're connected, but we're lonely. We're efficient, but exhausted. This video is my way of reflecting on that. Not to give answers really, but to hold up a mirror to gently ask, what if we built a world that doesn't serve us? What if society, in some quiet way, is backwards? So let's start with work, because that's usually what I talk about on my channel. That's where most of our time goes. We often say that we work to live, but for many of us, it feels more like we live to work. The hours meant for living, for resting, for playing, for simply just being, gets eaten up by deadlines, commutes, and meetings that could have been emails. One of the strangest contradictions of our time is this. Technology has advanced more than ever, our productivity has soared, but instead of freeing us, it seems to have bound us tighter. We can do more in less time, but somehow we don't get the time back. It just vanishes. Historian Juliet Shore once wrote about how even though industrial societies became more productive, they didn't reduce work hours. Instead, people worked even more, chasing higher output, more consumption, better numbers. And I get it. I've done the same. I've sacrificed weekends to get ahead, stayed up late to finish tasks that didn't really matter in the long run. But the payoff is kind of blurry, because the more we chase this kind of progress, the less we seem to enjoy it. Last year, my wife surprised me with this spa weekend. It was very generous of her, very thoughtful, and it was supposed to help me relax. But I couldn't shake this one thought, right? I was paying to recover from the stress of making money. We earn so we can rest, but we can't rest because we're too tired from earning. We live in the most convenient age in history. I can order groceries, takeout, furniture, all from my phone, but somehow I feel more tired, more hollow. It turns out convenience doesn't equal peace. If anything, it sometimes replaces meaning with speed. The French philosopher Blaise Pascal once said, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Maybe that's why we feel so off, because we've built a world where quiet is rare, where doing nothing is almost taboo. Mental health is something that we talk a lot about now, and that's a good thing, I think. We're more aware than ever of anxiety, depression, and burnout. We're learning how to name our struggles, but here's sort of the paradox. While mental health is celebrated on the surface, burnout is quietly rewarded. We cheer for self-care, but only if it's squeezed into a Sunday evening before the Monday's grind. Take care of yourself, they say, but keep grinding. Keep producing, keep showing up. We live in a culture that tells us to be ourselves, to be authentic, but only in ways that doesn't disrupt the system. It's really like there is an invisible script. You can be whoever you want as long as it's marketable, as long as your boss approves, as long as you don't make others uncomfortable. And it makes me think of this phrase I once read, authenticity is the new currency. And it's true, in a way. We've turned even our personalities into brands, and that can be exhausting. Social media makes it worse. We're more connected than ever, but also lonelier than ever. We scroll through curated moments and mistake them for connection. We compare our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. I caught myself doing that too, by the way. and feeling left behind, wondering why my life feels messier than the people I follow. It's such a quiet kind of sadness. The psychologist Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And I think social media makes that even harder, because we're trained to be present, not to just be. Sometimes I miss the days when being bored wasn't a crime, when no one expected you to always be doing, posting, optimizing. There is a kind of myth that still lingers in society, the idea that if you work hard, you'll succeed, that effort equals reward. But in reality, that equation doesn't always add up. Some people work these 3 jobs and still can't afford rent. Others do very little and own 5 homes. It's not always about effort. Sometimes it's about privilege, timing, inheritance, luck. I was raised by a single mom. Money was tight. We never wasted food. If we didn't finish dinner, it went back into the pot for the next day. I still struggle when I see food being thrown away, especially knowing that there's people, even in wealthy countries, who go to bed hungry. It's not always because there isn't enough food, it's because distributing it doesn't fit the profit model. It's strange. We call it a free market, but most of us have no choice. We work because we have to. Rent won't wait. We say anyone can succeed, but many people start several steps behind. Some don't even get to enter the race. And then there is the job market itself. You need experience to get a job, but need a job to get experience. It's a loop, and it keeps spinning. I think a lot about the illusion of freedom. We live in democracies, we can vote, speak out, dream big, but we're also watched, tracked, nudged by algorithms. We say we're free, but most of our days is shaped by systems we didn't choose. And even our dreams, they're often shaped by the culture we live in. You're told that you can be anything, but you're also steering towards college, debt, and 40 years of office work. To be honest, I don't have a neat ending for this video. That's kind of the point. These contradictions aren't problems with simple solutions. They're deeper than that. There's signs that maybe, just maybe, we need to reimagine what a good life looks like. Not just productivity, not just money, not just convenience, but time, stillness, connection, integrity. I think it starts with noticing, with allowing ourselves to question what we've been taught to accept, to gently ask, does this make sense? Does this feel right? Is this life the one that I want, or the one that life has handed me? Society might be backwards, but we don't have to be. We can turn around, slow down, choose differently. Not all at once, obviously, and maybe not even perfectly, but maybe just enough to feel human again. Oh, you're still here. Oh, that's right. It's the behind the scenes vlog. So this segment of the video is where I share more personal things. It's mostly for my subscribers, but if you're new here, you're more than welcome to stick around. Okay, I need to share something today that's less optimistic, but keep in mind, I'm just a human being. I'm not always happy. There are good days and there are bad days, and this happens to be one of the bad days. So last year, when I made the final video of the year, I made a promise to myself to make videos that are more honest and more authentic and less about going viral or making money. But ever since I started my business, I feel like I've done the exact opposite of what I was trying to avoid. And I suppose it's just the nature of the business. On a very personal level, I want to focus on making good, authentic videos. But looking at how this year has been going, the videos that I've produced so far, like some of them are good and I'm proud of them, but I see this weird behavior of mine that I haven't seen before. You know that feeling when you're looking in the mirror and not recognizing yourself? Yeah, that's what I see when I watch my own videos. Like, I'm doing these things that you've probably noticed. I'm pushing Patreon, I'm pushing, my book and my course, and there's a part of me that really hates it. Not because my products are bad, but because I'm just not a salesman, I'm a content creator, I tell stories. And I don't want to blame this on the boogie, but it's sort of, the flaw is in the business side of things. Now, I understand that there are some people who have strong wills and can fight against the urge to focus on money. It's like candy. Most people can't avoid grabbing a candy if there is a bowl on the table. Me, I have no problems with candy, but if there is a bowl with potato chips, then I cannot help but to grab the entire bowl. People are different, that's my point. We all have our vices, But I want you to know that I'm working on myself every day. I have a vision in my head of who I want to be, but life is a process, and I just have to remind myself that every now and then. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.